studios of Kten Television. This is Kten News at 6.
Right now on Kten News at 6, battling for hours, reinforcements are called in for a stubborn ranch fire that has 6 departments working to get it out.
Plus, parole petition. A Texoma family fights the release of a man who killed their young daughter decades ago. We'll show you how they're doing it.
And charges filed.
Anytime it involves children, it's especially tough to deal with.
A local man accused of kidnapping and raping a 7-year-old Texoma girl is formally charged in court. Kten News at 6 starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Meredith Saldana. Welcome to Kten News at 6.
And I'm Tom Crespo. The court process started today for a Love County man accused of abducting and raping a young Texoma girl. The Carter County District Attorney's Office filed a felony kidnapping charge today against 34-year-old Fount Dustin. Kten's Zach Hedrick joins us now live from Ardmore with the latest. Zach?
Tom, just a few hours ago, Dustin appeared on a video screen here at the Carter County Courthouse. And while just a single felony charge was filed today in Carter County, prosecutors say several more are possibly on the way. 34-year-old Fount Dustin was formally charged with kidnapping Wednesday afternoon after police say he forced a 7-year-old Ardmore girl into his vehicle on Saturday.
Very grateful that she's been returned, but it was a scary ordeal for her.
District Attorney Craig Ladd wouldn't release details of a 48-hour affidavit as he, fellow prosecutors, and law enforcement continued their investigation.
I'm pleased with the quality of the investigation, I can tell you that.
Although authorities say Dustin lives in Love County, it was revealed in court Wednesday he worked in Ardmore.
He said at initial appearances today he used to work at the Walmart here in Ardmore. And I believe our investigation indicated he was at work earlier that day.
Several family members were present for the video conference, but declined to talk to the media.
I appreciate you guys, but we're not able to make any comments.
Thank you.
Dustin's bond remains at $750,000. He's expected to be charged with at least 5 other crimes in Love County later this week.
You know, it's a very sad situation. I'm a father of 3, so anytime it involves children, it's especially tough to deal with. But it just makes us more committed, myself and law enforcement, to prosecuting those offenders to the fullest extent of the law.
And for now, Dustin is being held in the Carter County Jail. I spoke with the Carter County Sheriff Milton Anthony earlier today. He said Dustin had been held in isolation earlier, but has now joined the other inmates in general population. Prosecutors also say that later this week more charges could be filed. Craig Ladd anticipates another kidnapping charge along with 2 counts of rape and gun charges to be filed later this week in Carter County. Reporting live at the Carter County Courthouse, I'm Zach Hedrick, Kten News.
While the family of the Carter County girl who was kidnapped last weekend is thankful that she's back safe at home, a Grayson County family is still struggling with the loss of their young child who was abducted and killed almost 45 years ago.
It was a case that shook Texoma, stole 2 young lives, and forever changed the childhood of everyone who grew up here at that time. Kten's Marky Martin has been covering this story for months now. She joins us now live in the studio with more. Marky.
Meredith, 4 decades ago, a Texoma teenager targeted 2 young Grayson County schoolgirls, leaving 2 families without daughters and an entire community on edge. Now the case is coming back to life as the man behind bars for the crimes will be eligible for parole in 2 months. And that has the girl's family fighting to keep him behind bars, all in the name of their Lamar angel.
It's always going to be a mystery. Why did she get in that car? What happened to Lori? Forever changed Denison. It forever changed the whole county.
54-year-old Carrie Carr remembers the spring of 1970 like it was yesterday. The April Fool's Day, her best friend, 11-year-old Lori Stevens, disappeared on her walk home from Lamar Elementary.
I watched Lori turn at her street to go home, and that's the last we saw of her. And then just kind of a weird feeling came over me that there had not been any pranks yet.
Carr says it was later that evening, jumping on the trampoline at a friend's house, when she learned little Lori's disappearance wasn't a prank. In the following days, search teams scoured Grayson County for any signs of the missing girl. Lori's body was found 4 days later, lying face down in a ditch near Randell Road, just 6 miles from where she was abducted. She had been shot 6 times, wearing nothing but her school shoes. But who would have murdered Lori Stevens? The unanswered question shook the entire county. And then classmates started to remember a frequent face at the playground.
A lot of the girls say he stood here at 5th Street and watched us, but I remember him watching us down under the tree down there on that next street.
He's always parked the same place, and he watched every day when they walked by.
The man was 18-year-old Charles Dennis Easley, who would later be arrested in connection with Lori's death and convicted for the murder of another schoolgirl, 7-year-old Donna Marie Golish of Sherman, just 6 months earlier.
He just saw a little girl that wasn't going to tell, that wasn't going to scream.
Lori's mother, Frances Morgan, says Easley also lived close by and zeroed in on her daughter's afternoon route.
He knew where she was going, and he got part of the way up the hill and made her throw her books down.
She says one of the most disturbing parts of Lori's kidnapping and murder was this drawing that investigators found in Lori's desk. It was drawn by Lori during a stranger danger campaign the week before. It read, "Live a little, don't get into cars with strangers."
He had to have a gun or something on her, or she wouldn't have.
In an excerpt from In the Line of Duty, author and Texas Ranger who worked the case, Lewis Rigler, says, quote, "Real panic set in. Little girls were no longer allowed to walk home from school, but were picked up by their anxious parents instead."
Used to, kids could play outside after dark and everything, you know. Doors weren't locked. They were locked after that.
And still locked up almost 45 years later in the Alfred Hughes unit in Gatesville, Texas, is the now 62-year-old Charles Easley. In January of 2015, he will be eligible for parole.
He's just evil and has no business being out.
I just want every child safe. And I think that means keeping him locked up.
Those who have been haunted by this case are now signing an online petition to keep Easley where the law put him, behind bars.
He might not have killed a lot of kids, but he stolen a lot of childhoods.
And as the petition to deny his parole continues to collect thousands of signatures, family and friends hope it will be enough. In the meantime, they say the only thing left to do is pray and share the story of their Lamar angel.
I think she would be a mother and be a good mother, and there's no telling what she turned out to be because she was so precious. I think of that every time I go to the cemetery and see her grave. There she lays. And she never got to do any of that stuff.
We spoke with a representative from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. He says the parole board will consider several factors when deciding whether to grant Easley parole, including the seriousness of his offense, letters of support or protest, how he's adjusted in prison, and his age. Now, if you'd like to sign the parole petition, we've posted a link onto our website, Kten.com. Reporting live in the studio, Marky Martin, Kten News.
Thank you, Marky. Firefighters are still monitoring a fire at a well-known wedding venue in Tom Bean.
They're making sure it doesn't rekindle. 6 departments worked to battle the fire that started at the 9G Ranch late this morning. It's believed it started at the east end of the 2-story barn. Firefighters have been working since before noon trying to salvage what they can. Still, investigators say the facility suffered severe damage.
We're trying to make access to it because of the design of the building being a barn. It's between the floor levels, and so they're just trying to get access to it.
Events scheduled at the ranch for this weekend are all canceled. No one was hurt. There's no word yet on how that fire started.
And turning to weather, last night was the first freeze of the season for many in Texoma, but it surely wasn't the last.
Alan's in the Weather Center now with a quick check of our forecast. Alan?
Well, that's right. As a matter of fact, we get to take another run at it tonight and probably tomorrow night as well. Even showing up now over the weekend, the potential of a little bit of winter mix, too. I'll detail that for you in a few minutes. But a cold day tomorrow, cloudy skies in the morning. At least by afternoon, we should start to pick up a little bit of sunshine. In spite of that, though, upper 30s. Hard to believe just a couple days ago it was close to 80 degrees. Wind chills will be quite cold, near single digits in the morning, and then below freezing is how it will feel if you're outdoors through much of the afternoon.
Still ahead, a Texoma company is expanding its operation and adding jobs. We'll show you where.
Plus, the early signing period is underway, and a couple of Texoma High School athletes will take their talents to the Division I level next fall.
And where did the fall weather go? Alan's back with a look at the winter-like forecast when Kten News at 6 returns. It's early signing day in Texoma as several area prep stars would get their college decisions out of the way before starting their senior seasons. We'll take a look at who's going where.
K10 News at 6. With Tom Crespo, Meredith Saldana, sports with Chase Shannon, and Chief Meteorologist Alan Mitchell with the weather.
Well, wintertime weather has settled in across our region for an extended period, it looks like. Even now over the weekend, it appears that a little bit of rainfall could very well mix with some snowflakes as well. I'll show you that in a moment. Our Red River Auto Group tower camera, though, this evening, gusty north winds continue, cloudy skies, dry across our area. However, while southward bound to our Dr. Jack Thomas tower camera, the lights of Denison, Texas there in the background. All quiet for us weather-wise with the exception of the cold. Now then, radar's clear too in our part of the country. That may change though on Saturday and again on Sunday, and during the night time, particularly Sunday night, as another front blows through, we could generate a little bit colder air with that, as well as some rain changing over and mixing to some light snow flurries as well Sunday night. Now Saturday, northern parts of Oklahoma could even pick up some accumulating snow in that region, but that would be generally north of Interstate 40 out of our coverage area. Now then, temperature-wise this morning, the prize goes to Ada for the coldest reading we could find, 23 degrees. It was a hard freeze, though, area-wide, generally lower to mid-20s across a large part of the region to about 30 in North Texas. Climbed to 39 this afternoon. Had a bit of normal day, would be up around 66. And we won't be anywhere near that anytime soon. It looks like until perhaps maybe about Thanksgiving. It looks like this cold air is just going to be in place with temperatures running well below normal until at least about that time, another 10 days or so. 30 degrees right now in Ada. Pauls Valley, you're a cold 28 to 33 in Sherman and Denison. Southeastern Oklahoma shows Idabel at 36 with a cold 20 up in Gage. And of course, there's enough wind tonight, still running around 10 to 15 miles an hour. That it gives wind chill readings in the teens to about 20 degrees over a large part of our region, with single-digit wind chill readings out in the Amarillo and Gage Woodward area in northwestern sections of Oklahoma. Not seeing much in the way of any storm systems approaching our region. Our next one's not due in until, again, over the weekend, and it presently is out in the northwestern part of the nation, out in over the Gulf of Alaska. So it's a long ways off. Timing is always can be an issue several days out with a system like that, but it does appear that Sunday night would be our best chance of seeing any wintry form of precipitation across our region. Tomorrow morning, generally lower to mid-20s, pretty much area-wide, another hard freeze, some cloud cover as well, and then that'll clear out in the afternoon. And in spite of seeing a little sunshine, very similar to today, upper 30s across a large part of the region is kind of where temperatures will peak out at. Colder start still Friday morning. At least the wind will be down on Friday, so we won't have the additional wind chill reading for us. A few showers not out of the question on Saturday, but by Sunday evening, and it's a small chance right now, but a few snowflakes could mix in with a little bit of light rainfall again by Sunday evening. No accumulation in our area at all, but northern parts of Oklahoma, as I mentioned on Saturday, could pick up some accumulating snowfall there. So if you're traveling north of I-40 again on Saturday, you may want to check ahead.
All right, thanks, Alan. Well, still to come on K10 News at 6, the high school football playoffs start tomorrow for some area teams. Ardmore, though, will wait until Friday. We'll preview their first-round contest later in sports.
Plus, a local manufacturer is investing millions more into its operation. What that means for job seekers in the area.
Sherman may not be known for its automotive manufacturing, but that isn't stopping one company from diving in.
K10's Rachel Salyer is live in the studio with more on Kaiser Aluminum's expansion. Rachel?
Meredith, Kaiser has 12 plants in North America, and they've decided to expand and add jobs right here in Texoma, and it's a local grant that's helping pave the way. 2 years ago, President Obama signed a bill requiring automakers to produce cars that average 54 miles per gallon by 2025. And that set the wheels in motion for job creation right here in Texoma.
The lighter the vehicle, the stronger it is, the less expensive the gas usage is.
Automakers once sold on steel are now using aluminum, and they're getting it from Kaiser Aluminum in Sherman, or at least they will after the plant's $5.8 million expansion and a little help from the Sherman Economic Council Development Corporation.
Sherman Economic Development will do an incentive of $232,000 for them at the completion of this project.
The Kaiser plant has been a staple in town since the early 1950s. In those days, it was just about the only building lining the lonely stretch of Highway 75. Now they have about 150 employees, and in half a century, this is the first time that they've asked Sedco for a grant.
Very excited about being able to help a local company that's been here for a long time and is in a growth mode.
Kaiser will get the money after adding the equipment to make the parts and hiring 7 new production workers at $19 an hour. In a statement, the company said, "We think this is a great partnership and hope to continue to grow with Sedco's help and support. The grant money supplied by Sedco was very much appreciated and helps justify the project for Sherman. The expansion will be complete this summer." There is no word yet on when the company will start hiring for those new jobs. We will be sure to keep you posted. Live in the studio, Rachel Salyer, Kten News.
Well, we know we've got some pretty good high school athletes around here, and I think today proves it.
Yeah, absolutely. Several Division I athletes are signing to be Division I athletes here in Texoma. A couple you'll notice. This one, Hal's very own, signing with Stephen F. Austin. We're going to hear from her and many more coming up next in sports.
Now sports with Chase Shannon.
A couple of Texas teams will kick off bi-district play tomorrow, while all of our area Oklahoma teams are waiting for Friday night. That includes the district champion Ardmore Tigers. Sounds good, doesn't it? For the first time in 9 years, the Tigers would lock down their league crown, and it's interesting how they did it. They needed an 8-point or more win over Duncan last Friday. They'd get that done. But just a year ago, they'd miss out on the 5A1 title as Lawton MacArthur would beat them by that magic number 8.
It's kind of ironic that 1 year to the day later we had to win to be district champions, and we just looked at it as an opportunity to show how far we've come.
They'll get a rematch of last year's first round, taking on Bishop McGuinness this Friday night. They're hoping for a better outcome than last year's 40-27 loss. The early signing period is open. Prep athletes all around the nation signing their national letters of intent today, including several right here in Texoma. Mason Riggins, the 6'9" big man from White Wrights, heading to California. He'd ink with Long Beach State this morning. He's glad to get it done before his senior season tips off in just 6 days, and the reason he'd choose the 49ers over schools like Boise State and Tulsa was their men in charge and level of competition.
Love the coaches and the team. They have the toughest non-conference schedule, so we'll play good teams. We have Arizona scheduled, you have Oklahoma State scheduled, so it'll be fun.
If you haven't seen him play, here's a two-hand throwdown from the Tiger star just because. Another Division I signing in Howe is Peyton Tenney will head to Nacogdoches to play for Stephen F. Austin's softball team. She's had a great career so far for the Lady Dogs and says her decision to suit up for the Lady Lumberjacks has nothing to do with the school being in the Lone Star State.
The distance really didn't matter to me. As long as I liked the school and it was a good fit for me, that's all that mattered.
Whitesboro softball star Alexis Van Landingham will head north to Oklahoma Christian. She's a legacy with her grandpa, aunt, and uncle graduating from there. She says one moment made it clear she would one day become a Lady Eagle.
Group, and they came and sang at our church, and my mom was like, you need to go there. This is kind of like, I guess, a sign, but she said, you know, with your family going there, it would be great if you went there too, and I guess it just worked out. So.
And finally, her classmate Aaron Dobbs will join her in the Sooner State just a little farther north. The golfer hitting the links in Alva for the Northwestern Oklahoma State Rangers. He really enjoys their small town feel.
Reminds me a lot of Whitesboro, small, and just really nice campus. I mean, a lot of nice people.
So congratulations to those young ladies and gentlemen.
All right, thanks, Chase. And stick around. Alan is back with a final look at the forecast when we come back.
Alan, it feels more like December.
It surely does, particularly if you've been outdoors today with that wind chill in the 20s this afternoon in many areas. Now in the morning, another hard freeze for us. Same thing again Friday morning and potential Saturday morning as well. A little bit of light showers, not out of the question. But by Sunday night, there'll be a stronger front come in that could mix